You know, if Michael Chandler is on the card, it's going to be an entertaining fight. I mean, fight of the night, performance of the night, like 5, 6 of his last fights, it's gone that way. Win or lose, it's good. He's going to put on a show. And South Florida, Miami, we're lucky once again to get UFC coming here. UFC 314 returns to Miami, Kaseya Center. That's where the Miami Heat plays. April 12th, a Saturday. Michael Chandler is on the card. It's going to be a fun, exciting night. Michael, thank you so much. Tell us about the fight. Tell us about the card and just getting ready for this one.
You got it. Thank you for having me. And I'm excited to compete in Miami. I went to the Miami card last year. Huge crowd. Everybody was into it. It was a great card. The UFC loves Miami. I love Miami. Obviously, I'm here training in South Florida, a little bit north of Miami. So it'll be a nice, easy trip down there and fighting Paddy Pimblett. So I get an opportunity to go out there and fight a young, hungry up-and-comer. I fought nothing but contenders thus far in the UFC. Now it's time to try my hat at a guy who's trying to make his name and come into the top 10.
What is the mindset when that happens? Because you got title fights, you've had big-name fighters, you went toe-to-toe with them all, and now, like you said, it's a different kind of fighter coming in. Does the mindset change at all, training and get ready for the fight?
Not really, you know. I mean, I've always been the kind of guy who's like, hey, in front of me, I got 2 arms and 2 legs. I got a torso, and there's a head. All of them are targets, and all of them are dangerous weapons, right? So it's just doing what I've been doing for the last 24 years of hand-to-hand combat since I was 14 years old. And the mindset doesn't change. I mean, obviously, it's a co-main event in Miami, big card, and it's awesome. I get these great opportunities, man. It's always fun. The UFC puts on a great show. And I've been vocal about it. I like Paddy Pimblett. I like his brand. I like what he does. He seems like a decent guy, but what we do for a living is fight in a cage, right? So just because I respect the guy, like the guy, doesn't mean I'm not going to go out there and absolutely try to separate him from consciousness in the middle of the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida on April 12th. So it's going to be fun.
Michael, saying that the last 2 times UFC's been here, there's been massive shows, massive cards, sellouts. I'm sure it's going to be a sellout again. What makes UFC so appealing now? Because a long time ago, Michael, they were here. This is way back when, and they couldn't draw anything. And then UFC took off. And then finally, it's like with the training centers, Kill Cliff FC up in Deerfield Beach, American Top Team in Coconut Creek, MMA Masters down in Miami, and other gyms. But those are 3 bigger ones. What are your thoughts of the evolution of MMA in South Florida?
It's great. I mean, this is definitely a hotbed for mixed martial arts. I mean, so much so that I leave my family for, 8 to 10 to 12 weeks at a time. I mean, it takes something very spectacular to pull me away from my fight. I mean, my family. I'm either getting paid a ton of money to be away from my family, or I'm going to be able to advance my career if you're going to take me away from my wife and my kids. So being under the tutelage of Henri Hooft and the coaching staff we have here in Florida, and then just as you talk about the UFC, I mean, what Dana and the Fertittas at the very beginning started with compared to what it is now going mainstream on ESPN, man, everybody knows what UFC is. Even if you don't like it, whether you like it to admit it or not, you're a little bit drawn to it because I believe fighting is in our DNA, especially men. Every man needs a battle to fight, an adventure to have, and a beauty to win. So, man, I'm excited to compete. And it's just so fun to be a part of even just this roster of lightweights. I am very fortunate and blessed to be a part of probably the greatest lightweight roster that we have had in the history of the UFC. And my name's been in it, and I've been in some big wars and some big fights, fight of the year, fight of the night, and it's a lot of fun. So on April 12th, we come out guns a-blazing, and we beat the Brit from Liverpool, Paddy Pimblett.
Hey, Michael, it's interesting, too, because with South Florida, and you mentioned Henri Hooft, what is that training center like that you're at when you come down here? Because there are some real big names, big fighters, men and women that are there, a lot of men. But I know you got some big fighters that are there.
Yeah, I mean, we just attract I think we just like anything, you got to build a foundation. We had a good foundation of guys, had a good foundation of coaching. And then we just – the motto with Henri and his wife Pookie is keep it simple, stupid. We just keep it simple. Really, I mean, this fighting thing has gotten so big, yet it is Very, very basic. And we're just brilliant with the basics. We work hard. We're disciplined. We try to attract good dudes from around the world these days. I mean, there's so many guys coming in to our gym now who are just trying to get a bite at the apple to become part of our team. And that's what Henri really has created. And the facility is second to none. I mean, seeing what our facility is now compared to where I started and some of the gyms I've been in around the country, it's absolutely spectacular. And that's why we have so much great success, because I got a great coaching staff. We have high standards for who we attract and who we will let on our team. Not every Tom, Dick, and Harry is allowed to just come off the streets and join our team. You have to go through a vetting process. And that's why we've been successful. And we're going to keep – I believe that we have the best team in the entire world, and I believe Henri Hooft is the best coach, the best leader in the entire world, and I'm very, very fortunate to be a part of it.
And you're saying fortunate. I want to ask this too on that. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. You have your own training gym in Nashville, and then we're gonna last question. We'll get you out of here. But you have your own training center, I believe, in Nashville, and I'm just curious if that's the case. Do you take elements of what you just talked about and bring it to your gym and what you want to do?
Yeah, we have a great gym. We have the best gym in Nashville, Tennessee. We're attracting talent every day. We got a great coaching staff, former UFC guys, Ronnie and Dustin Ortiz, a couple guys who fought in the UFC, and we got a great facility. But I've found my home when it comes to my training camps, and it's down here in Florida. But in between training camps, I'm doing strength and conditioning with Jeremy Holt, who's a world-class fitness trainer, and I'm getting into Nashville MMA, grappling with the guys, sparring with the guys, bag work, hitting mitts, doing that kind of stuff, so I can kind of stay in shape and stay sharp outside of training camp and really hone the skills when I come down here to South Florida and get in camp. So anybody who's in the Nashville area, we got a great facility there. Man, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. We got a great facility, great staff, and to the moon with Nashville MMA and down here in Florida.
UFC 314 coming to Miami. Michael Chandler, thank you on your way out. Hey, TKO Group, UFC, WWE. Can we see Michael Chandler one day in a WWE ring?
Hey, I'll tell you what, Triple H is a friend, so we'll see what happens.
All the best. Thank you, Michael.
Yes, sir. Thank you, James. See you, brother.